Good afternoon, Southwest Florida. I'm Bri Walling. This Naples Herald Lunch Break is sponsored by our friends at Fusillo Kia of Cape Coral. This morning, we'll tell you about Lee officials left scratching their heads over who will pay for increased security at schools, the history of the U.S. government's long practice of separating families, and more. Today is Wednesday, June 20th, and this is the Lunch Break. The Parkland shooting and its legislative fallout left many local governments, including those in Southwest Florida, trying to untangle the knot of who's responsible for funding increased law enforcement presence at area schools. In the wake of February's high school shooting, pressure mounted quickly on Governor Scott and state legislators to find ways to increase safety at Florida schools. SB 7026 was quickly passed by the legislature and signed into law by Scott on March 9th, requiring, among other things, that a sworn law enforcement officer be present at every school in the state. The Lee County School Board and Sheriff's Office decided to comply with the measure by temporarily stationing personnel who were doing administrative duties at school campuses. But this was always meant to be a stopgap measure. At the time, Undersheriff Carmine Marcino said the LCSO intended to hire 40 additional deputies as school resource officers, bringing the total number of SROs for the agency to around 100. The legislative requirement to place an officer in every school did not come with clarification on who should pay for the increased law enforcement on Lee County campuses, causing a clash between local governments on how funding should be handled. In unincorporated areas like Lehigh Acres, the county government has taken over the expense. In the case of Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Sanibel, the cities are covering the cost for schools within their limits. Commission Chair Cecil Pendergrass, a former sheriff's deputy, suggested that with the number of students continuing to grow steadily in the area, it may be time for the school district to create its own SRO department. Some critics of the forced separation of Latino children from their migrant parents say the practice is unprecedented, but it's not the first time the U.S. government has split up families, detained children, or allowed others to do so. Throughout American history, during times of war and unrest, authorities have cited various reasons and laws to take children away from their parents. Last week, both White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Attorney General Jeff Sessions cited the Bible in defending the policy of forced separation of Latino migrant children. Sessions referenced Romans 13, which urges readers to obey the laws of the government because God has ordained them for the purpose of order. The same passage was cited before the Civil War to justify slavery, to allow slave hunters to return runaway slaves to their owners, and to pull slave children away from their mothers. Before abolition, children of black slaves could be sold by owners at will. Black women could do little to stop the sale of their children and often never saw them again after they were sent away. After the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre, when the Army slaughtered 150 Lakota men, women, and children, authorities forced Native American families to send their surviving children to boarding schools with an objective to kill the Indian in them and save the man. Times of poverty also saw the government stepping in to break up families, often sending children of able-bodied parents to orphanages, but reformers in the late 1920s and 30s began promoting the idea that children should not be separated from their families, though local and state authorities still used poverty as a reason to take children away from Native American and black families. Then, starting in 1942, when the U.S. was at war with Japan, around 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry were ordered by the U.S. government into prison camps around the country, including an estimated 30,000 children. So this is certainly not the first time the U.S. government has practiced the breaking up of families, especially those of color, and it may not be the last. A month-long global operation against illegal trade in wildlife and timber has resulted in the seizure of thousands of live animals and tons of meat and ivory. Among those arrested were flight attendants carrying turtles in their baggage and a hunter who posted his illegal trophies on social media. Some 1,400 suspects have been identified worldwide. The operation, codenamed Thunderstorm, involved police, customs, border, environment, wildlife, and forestry agencies in 92 countries. The nearly 2,000 seizures, worth millions of dollars, include 43 metric tons of wild meat, including bear, elephant, crocodile, whale, and zebra, 1.3 tons of elephant ivory, 27,000 reptiles, almost 4,000 birds, 48 live primates, 14 big cats, and the carcasses of 7 bears, including 2 polar bears. Several tons of wood and timber were also seized. And that was the lunch break for today. I'm Bri Walling. For your twice daily news fix, head over to the Naples Herald YouTube channel and subscribe. Leave us a comment to let us know your thoughts on the news or what you'd like to hear about. The lunch break airs Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. right here at naplesherald.com. And don't forget to check out our morning report that also airs Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.